Hello everyone, and welcome to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Care Network. I'm Dean, the host of the N.A.R.C.N Network, and also the host of the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Today I'm going to be presenting to you episode 167, and the title of episode 167 is Are Narcissists Crazy? Now, this particular episode comes about because of a couple of different videos I've seen recently on the internet that have been done by self-professed or diagnosed narcissists on the internet that have come forward on their channels and talked about, you know, just their narcissism and how they function within the confines of their narcissism and different things related to that, because there's a number of narcissists on the internet currently that you can go out there and watch that talk on a day-to-day basis about their narcissistic goings-on. They also offer assistance to narcissistic victims, and understanding narcissists, and whatever it is that they may be dealing with their narcissistic victims. They actually help people to understand what's going on when the narcissist is dealing with you. The topic of this particular video came up mostly because I've heard a number of people actually say, including the factor that I actually heard one narcissist recently say in a video, you know, or talk about recently in a video, if narcissists are crazy. Well, I think crazy is a relative term here, because as we know, there's different types and levels of crazy that we might actually look at in the confines of narcissism here. We have, if you look at this from a psychological standpoint, solely based on psychology, we have, scientific level psychopathy, which you see in serial killers and people who are predator type individuals. I know about this because I studied stuff of this nature in my early 20s when I studied psychology, and of course I still study this stuff to this day. So you see that type of psychopathy, which could be considered as clinical psychopathy, where people may actually indeed be scientifically or medically deemed as being insane, and that is an instance where somebody is definitely absolutely crazy. But it's also been noted to say that the behavior that we see out of narcissists in general, a lot of it is very borderline what could be considered to be crazy behavior. Sometimes it borderlines on psychopathy. Sometimes it goes into psychopathy, depending on the type of narcissist that you're dealing with and how bad their narcissistic situation actually is with themselves. So, are narcissists crazy? Some of them actually probably could be diagnosed as being psychopathically crazy. Or being psychopaths, or showing psychopathy itself of some nature within their behavior. So they could indeed be crazy. They could be clinically crazy. I think a large majority of other narcissists of middle or average level may not be considered to be necessarily crazy unless they are doing some type of behavior that denotes psychopathy within their functionality or within their behaviors. So are narcissists crazy? Well, a lot of people just like to call them crazy because of their behavior, but there's actually quite a difference between being, or having diagnosed psychopathy, or just having crazy making behavior that a lot of narcissists do, and a lot of narcissists demonstrate within their narcissism, that makes their victims in turn kind of crazy. So there are different particular ways to look at this. But, are all narcissists crazy? I don't think all narcissists are crazy. I think most narcissists, 99% of them, definitely have some mental hurdles to get over as far as understanding themselves and as far as understanding their narcissism or getting control of their narcissism, if they wish to do that. It's a very high road, and as we know, not many narcissists do it. Less than 1% of narcissists reform. That's a very low level. Narcissists want to stay in the shadows. They want to stay hidden. They want to stay away from being picked out as being narcissists. They don't want to come out in the limelight. They don't want people to know who they are or the condition that they have, because there is such a stigma upon it. That stigma is often worse for women than it is for men. And there's a lot of things that govern whether or not a narcissist will seek any assistance with that, or whether or not they'll even come out and openly admit that they have narcissism. That's a whole other hurdle to actually talk about. But those individuals may not necessarily be crazy. They may not have clinical psychopathy, and this is the defining, you know, thing between whether or not somebody is actually clinically or medically deemed crazy or insane, or whether or not they just have some personality disorder, behavior issues within the confines of their narcissism, and that causes them to be the way that they are. It's a very complex thing when we talk about narcissism. It's a very complex thing when we talk about a narcissist, because narcissists are so much the same in so much of their behavior, but they are also so individual in so much of their behavior. Not everyone is the same as the next one, although some of the behaviors are the same. It's very complex when we talk about how narcissists behave and what they do within the confines of their abuse to their victims. We could go on about this for hours and hours and hours, and if you do want to know more about more about these particular things, there's stuff about it on the N.A.R.C.N network. There's also stuff out there in social media, on the internet, that you can find out about this. Great many experts on this. Jordan Peterson is a great source of information. Dr. Ramani is another great source of information. There's a ton, Professor Sam Vaknin, another great source of information on this. You can find out lots of information on whether or not narcissists are actually crazy, clinically crazy, or whatever whatever the balance line is for any of that going on. Lots of information can be sought on the internet about that, as well as on the N.A.R.C.N network. I do provide a lot of information on that myself, and my information is always cutting edge, and I try to keep up to date with it. I try to keep the science of narcissism and narcissists as up to date as I can. I'm constantly doing research all the time, and I present that research and those facts on the N.A.R.C.N network as often as I can, and always with a grain of integrity towards everything that I present here being as realistic and cutting edge as it can be. So again, are narcissists crazy? There are probably narcissists who are clinically psychopathic, yes, definitely, and I've heard about some of them off of my N.A.R.C.N network. Some of the narcissistic victims on the N.A.R.C.N network I've talked to can definitely tell you about the fact that they've dealt with some of the narcissists in their lives being what could be considered clinically crazy in their behavior, but there's also a lot of them that aren't clinically crazy in their behavior. They have diagnosed personality disorders that affect them, you know, bipolar personality disorder, borderline, ASPD. There's a number of different things, histrionic personality disorder. There's a number of different disorders that go on in the confines of narcissistic personality disorder, and a lot of the time these disorders are all attached. We've talked about this in the past, that if you have a person as NPD, they commonly have a whole bunch of other disorders, including anxiety disorder, conductivity disorder. You can go down the list of different attached disorders that are commonly attached to NPD disorder. There's a bunch of them, and NPD never comes as one disorder by itself. Almost never does it come this way. It comes with a lot of other things attached to it at the same time. So this is just what I wanted to talk about here in this particular episode, about whether or not narcissists are crazy or not. Like I said, you can go look up some experts on the internet. You can also go look up some narcissists on the internet who will talk about whether or not they are crazy, or whether or not they feel they're crazy, or they present crazy behavior. There's a bunch of them on the internet that you can actually look into this. You'll find them. Just do a search on, you know, narcissists and crazy making, or if narcissists are crazy. You'll be able to find this stuff on the internet. So this was the basic stuff I want to talk to you here about in episode 167. Gonna say, please stay tuned to my network. I've got lots of content coming up in the future on the N.A.R.C.N network and on the Unmasking the Narcissist channel. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you really soon.